Good afternoon, Washington, D.C., Facebook, Instagram, social media, whoever's watching. This is Earl Rush with the Straight Up Talk Show with Earl Rush and Tanya J. Smith. And first of all, I'd like to welcome you all for joining us on this busy afternoon. And this evening, Tanya and I will be interviewing Jimmy Big Chimes Yoon. I think he's over in Vietnam right now, but we're going to be able to catch up with him. Jimmy and I used to throw parties together. I met Jimmy when he first came. I was one of the first guys Jimmy met when he came here. And what can I say? Jimmy Big Time Yoon is a DC legend, okay? He's one of the co-founders of DC Style Salsa Academy, one of the largest academies, if not the largest dance academy in Washington, D.C. He loves timba as well as mambo. He travels all over the world. He leaves D.C. when it gets cold. Jimmy don't play around with no cold weather. So let me see if I can bring Tanya and Jimmy in, and we're going to get straight to it because I know you guys are busy. It's Saturday. Even though you ain't going nowhere, it's nowhere to go. But I still know you got things you got to do. Tanya,
hey.
Jimmy.
Whoa!
Oh my God!
Yeah,
Tanya,
good to see you.
Tanya, you got to fix your volume. Something's going on with your volume. Lord have mercy.
Is it echoing or what?
No, it ain't echoing.
I can hear you.
Are you here? Okay, all right. Maybe everybody doesn't scream like I am.
Oh,
Jimmy,
I miss you.
Oh, I miss you too, Tanya. I love you. I miss you, Tanya.
I love you too.
Yeah.
Jimmy, when you coming back home? Tanya, turn your volume up or something. I can barely hear you. What the hell's going on?
My volume is up, but okay, go ahead and talk. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jimmy, when you coming back to DC?
When is COVID going to be over?
Oh, okay.
Right. That's a big
I can't make that call. I'm looking at maybe, hopefully August, but we'll see. Anyway, we got you here. We're going to ask you a couple of questions. Everyone doesn't know who Jimmy Yoon is, so if we have some new listeners, we got to let them know about who you are. I'm going to turn the questioning over to Tanya first. Tanya, ask whatever you want. We don't have any kind of order or any kind of format. We're playing it by ear, so I'm showing you, Mommy.
All right. So, Jimmy, you blew into D.C. No one knew who you were. You blew into town in the end of 2007. Your first stop your first stop was Havana Village, and there was a little chatter there. But your grand debut was at Michelle Reyes's function where she had a dance contest. And everyone in DC was like, who is this funky Asian guy with the energy of 1,000 tornadoes? You blew us all away. Everybody stood in line to dance with you that night. Everybody wanted to know who you were. I was one of those people. I was like, oh my God, who are you? My sensei, who is this? And then you and I connected 2 weeks later at my dad's house, and we just became, we almost bypassed friends. We became family instantly. You are a fantastic dancer. You are a wonderful intellectual. You have the charisma of 20 movie stars. I guess my first question is, how did you come to salsa and how did you come to DC? What was your journey through salsa and then to DC?
Oh man, where to begin? This is I like both of you guys, I had been dancing my whole life, and I listened to salsa when I was a very young boy. It was middle school. I was in middle school, and my mother was driving me somewhere, and I was flipping the radio. Back then in the cars, they were They were analog, so you had to actually dial the dial in order to get to the radio station. Anyways, I landed on.
Jimmy, one
Yeah.
question. Where were you then? What was your hometown? Where were you
California.
born? Where was
I'm from Oakland, California. Oakland, California.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was driving somewhere. My mother was driving me somewhere. I was 13 years old, and I landed on this jazz program, and it happened to be salsa music, and it blew my mind. The music was incredible. The drums, it just captivated me. I was 13 years old. I was in the passenger seat of my mother's car, and just listening to that music, oh man, it's braingasm. 13 years old. Can you imagine just listening to those drums? It's incredible. So a week later, I didn't know what that music was, but a week later, the 1995 California Salsa State Champions came to my middle school. Gary and Isabel. They came to my middle school, and we all lined up in the auditorium, and they started teaching us the basic step. And I was like, wow. You call music salsa, and you dance to that music. You call this salsa. This is exactly what I was listening to a week ago. I had no idea what the name of this music was, but that was love at first sight. 13 years old. Listen to the music. Of course, I couldn't tell any of my friends that I was a salsa lover. That's a weird thing. Growing up in the Bay Area as an Asian. But I always kept the love of salsa music, and the first opportunity I had to learn salsa, I learned it. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Jim,
I guess from that starting point and you developing that love and trying to get more information, how then did you come to DC? Because I know you actually wanted to come to DC because of your love of salsa. So I want you to give the people that story.
Salsa, listen, guys, to put it into a nutshell, salsa is a wonderful, wonderful activity for all people, old and young. When I was a kid, I got into a lot of trouble. And so that's one of the reasons why I joined the military, to leave my hometown. And so I remember I was stationed in Texas. I gave my father a call. I told him, Dad, I started this new hobby, this new passion, salsa dancing. And he said, wow, great, son. I encourage you 100%. Continue with your salsa. My father really encouraged me to continue with dancing, to even start with this salsa thing, because he already knew the people who come to salsa are older. They're not drinking a whole lot of alcohol. They're not getting into fights, nothing crazy. Safe, positive, peaceful environment. You have a lot of good, wholesome fun at salsa. So he encouraged me all the way. It was a great hobby. It's much better than getting belligerent drunk with your friends at the bar and starting fights, etc., etc. So he encouraged me all the way. So I really, with my father's support, I salsa danced throughout the military, and the military sent me to Washington D.C. when I was 23 years old.
But Jimmy, you told me that you actually sought someone out in DC, and that was the reason that you had your choice, and you sought someone out, someone to teach you, because they had a style.
Absolutely. Shaka Brown.
There you go.
Brown, DC style, Shaka Brown. I was stationed in Korea at the time, and my teacher, Christian Harris, he told me about his style. I said, Chris, this is wonderful that you're teaching me on too, and I very much appreciate that. Listen, man, what style do we dance? And he said, this is the style of Washington, D.C. This is the D.C. style. I had been dancing D.C. style even before coming to D.C., before people in D.C. even knew there was a style. D.C. style. Thanks, Chris. It's live. Oh, we're catching up, huh? COVID, what a crazy, 2020. How was 2020 for you guys? Man, I can't believe it. Those who are viewing, these two are my family. I don't think I've spent more time as an adult with anyone else other than with Tanya and Earl. More than Tanya and Earl. And Mr. Mambo. Yeah, love to.
Jimmy, I still got your lawn care and everything over here.
Is my camera frozen?
Yes. Yes.
Don't worry about it. We can hear you.
Let me turn it. Yeah.
We can still hear you, but you're still frozen.
Oh, you can hear me? Okay. I guess it'll reconnect in a moment.
Yeah.
But
we can hear you.
Yeah, listen, guys. How has it been for you guys?
It's been bad for me, Jimmy. I'm losing a lot of money weekly.
Oh man.
Yeah, Jimmy, it's not great for promoters. I mean, obviously, it's not great for salsa addicts. It's not great for anyone who wants to stay safe and don't want to imperil, the life of other people who may not survive this thing. So it's been challenging to stay on the right side of history. It's been challenging. I feel for. I want to say
especially
this
as a promoter.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm listening.
No. Go ahead.
I'm listening. No, I was just agreeing with you. Yeah, taking the right side of history for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any dancing out in Vietnam, Jimmy? Well, you just came from dancing, so that was a dumb question. Okay.
Every night, I don't know how I win the lottery. Literally, the dancer's lottery by being here. Best place in the world to get stuck for a salsa dancer. Best place in the world, Saigon, Vietnam. Yeah, the Vietnamese, they did a really wonderful job in containing the virus very early on. And so we had 1 3-week lockdown in March of last year. And after it's just been, they controlled the borders. Nobody can get in.
Okay.
So it's been like we've been living this bubble. I mean, I go to the park and exercise every day. Plenty of people walking around. Go dancing with 100 people. It's like life hasn't, and I'll tell you guys. I know we're live, so I'll keep the secrets to a minimum. But 2020 has really taught me to be very grateful and to not speak much, keep my mouth silent. I used to be very vocal about everything, but has taught me not to speak out. A lot of people are going to be jealous if they actually knew, if they knew this place. This place is it's so crazy. It's so crazy. It's really crazy. Out of all the places that I could have been stranded at, the interesting thing is Saigon scene. It's about 10 years old, so it's been in maturation for 10 years. So it's just getting fun now. And of course, since I've been here, I've helped the scene mature in certain areas, raising a generation of dancers here as well. And imparting that DC flavor and what to Washington D.C. and the East Coast in general. So it's really exciting. Really exciting time to be here. I get to.
So Jimmy, are you going to have SalsaCon 2 in Vietnam?
Yeah, SalsaCon 2. We're organizing the first Saigon Latin Dance Cup, March 14th this year.
Oh wow!
First Saigon Dance Cup. Yeah, so obviously May 14th, weekend of May 14th, 15th, 16th. So we're gonna have the first Saigon Latin Dance Cup here. Yes. So hopefully in 2022, our second Saigon Latin Dance Cup, we have a really nice integration with Washington D.C.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Hey, Jimmy, if I'm able to come over there, can I get a discount on the ticket?
A discount.
You know, I'm like crime. I don't pay.
Yeah, and why would you? Why would you? You know, it's because of you and Tanya, and a handful of other people that culture exists in Washington, D.C. You guys are the vanguards of culture. If it wasn't for you guys in and out, day in, day out, doing this job, who would do it?
Oh, somebody would do it. But thank you for the kind words, Jimmy.
Thank
Somebody
you,
would do
Jimmy. Thank you,
That's
Jimmy.
you. This is what you're doing. This was one of your purposes in life. This is one of your purposes in life. Stuck on salsa, Mr. Mambo. One of your purposes in life. You know how much joy and happiness you've provided people over so many years. You know, this is an important service to humanity, to your community, to art, to the preservation of art. You know, we have our own thing going on, and that was molded very much by you guys as well. Week in, week out, throwing parties. You know, this is the not only the preservation, but the promulgation of culture. You're promoting culture. You're keeping it alive. If you weren't doing this, who would do this? You know, not a lot of people.
You would do it.
Yeah, I'm a part of this. I have been bred into this system since I was young, you know. Of course you guys know. You guys know better than anybody. Yeah, and y'all are the ones who taught me this business. You know, you along with Shop. You know, and all this time, man, it's just like, yeah.
Jimmy.
I'm independent here. Literally, I can eat anywhere in the world because of you guys. You know.
Okay, enough flowers, Jimmy.
Yeah.
We're going to ask you the questions. You're trying to avoid questions. I see it now. We'll get back to you.
Ask questions. Ask questions.
Okay.
The jitters out.
Hey, Jimmy, I have a question for you. I'm getting old. I can't remember. Did I give you the name Big Jimmy Shines You? Did Sheila McNeil give you the name Big Jimmy Shines You? Or where did you get it from?
You gave me the nickname. It was it was at Mr. Mambo's for sure. It was at Mr. Mambo's very early on, like the first or second week at Mr. Mambo's. Nickname. I don't know why, because I can't shine for shit.
I know. You don't shine.
Mambo. I went up to Mr. Mambo and I asked him, I told him, listen, Earl gave me this nickname. He started calling me Jimmy Shines. Tommy, he said, you know what? That's totally appropriate because when you dance, you shine.
There
on the
you
dance
go.
floor.
There you go. Shine has one meaning, you know.
And you shine on the dance floor. Yeah.
Hey, Jimmy, I got a question for you. So when you came to DC, you were into everything salsa. You were about promoting salsa. You were about learning salsa. You were about trying to educate yourself on the different styles of dance, the different styles of music, everything. But the one thing you never liked.
You can't hear us?
Yes. I'm listening.
Okay.
I'm listening.
Okay. The one thing you never did that I thought you would have really shined at, and you always told me you never liked, was performing. Why? And has that changed?
Totally. In the beginning, I didn't have the time. I mean, I was. Can you hear me? Yes. In the beginning, I didn't have the time. You know, I was a full-time. I was in the military, and of course, I think as the years went by, I used that as an excuse. I really didn't have the time. I mean, I was working hard. Got out of the military, became a professional consultant, etc. Working hard for my company. I didn't have the time or the focus to do that. And so as the years went by, I just totally lost interest. I didn't have much interest to begin with. You know, I was a social dancer. You know, they say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. My teacher, Chris Harris, he's not a prolific performer as well. or a shines guy. So I picked up his turn pattern style, and I was big into the social dancing as well. That was my thing because that was his thing, and so very much a product of him as well. So performing was never, but I performed 5 times this year.
Whoa.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got a group
Yeah.
over there, don't you, Jimmy? Don't you have a group over there?
Yes. Yeah. A little vegetable garden.
What's
I like
the
to
name
think
of
of
your
myself
group?
as 239 boys and girls. 239.
What's 239? What does that mean?
239. 239 is the name of the park where we practice at in Saigon. It's in District 1. 239 Park. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. So we call us 239 boys and girls. 239 boys. 239 boys. That's a thing. That's a forever thing. That's a forever thing in Saigon. Like a whole generation has been raised on 239 now. So that's not going away. Like this is not going away, or that it's not going away. Like the 239 for sure is not going away. Listen, I'm a big fan of cannabis, as everybody knows. 239 is such a thing. On my birthday, one of my friends made me this. It's a grinder. It's a herb grinder. But you put our logo on top of it. Look at this.
Awesome. Awesome.
So, Jimmy, can you hear me?
You're frozen, Jimmy. Okay, he'll come back.
I don't know why we having such a problem. I talked to Henry Knowles. He was over in Bangkok or something, and we didn't have no problem with this.
You're back.
Can't hear you, Jimmy.
Can't hear. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Can't hear. No. Can't hear you.
Hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can hear me now.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is our logo, 239 boys. We got a big rooster.
I love it.
Yeah. This is the real thing. It's not going away. It's not going away. It's going to be here. Totally like introduced, exposed a whole generation of people to ideas, techniques, music in which it would have been difficult for them. The intersection is right here. And so we're proud of the work that we do here because we get to introduce culture here. Yeah.
So Jimmy, when you were here, after the parties, you and John Trevino and your crew would always go out eating somewhere. Do you still do the same thing over in Vietnam? You have a crew you go eat after salsa?
Sometimes. Yeah. Over here, sure. Afterwards, it's a ritual. You have to. I mean, you just spent this ceremony, this 3-4 hour ceremony with another person. Literally. I mean, what else? I mean, besides going to church, what other function do you do that's like that? It's a religious activity that we engage in almost every night. We go there and we literally let the spirit out.
Right.
So it's healing. This is why so many people dance the way we do. This partner dance, this is a healing activity.
Yeah,
it's religious nature. If you don't think it is, then you don't know the point of religion.
Right. Let me ask you this, Jimmy. Did you fall in love with Timba when you were on the West Coast or when you came to DC?
West Coast.
Oh, before coming to DC, for sure. Love Timba, for sure. You know, back then, we were using, at least me, I was using like Napster and like LimeWire, all these download programs, file sharing programs. And at the time when I was downloading music, I didn't know who was who. The music I was downloading just happened to be Timba. And I listened to it and I liked it. It was really good. You know, I was stationed in Texas at the time. And the only way for me to receive music was through Amazon. I had to order Amazon CDs, and the CDs would actually come to my mailbox. And of course, at that time, I didn't know who was who. I didn't know what was sounding good. So it was literally a crapshoot. You would go into Amazon and you would like read the reviews of what people said. There was no like preview or anything like that. So I remember getting I got 3 CDs. I got Spanish Harlem Orchestra, Wayne Gorbea, and Ray Barretto. I got like a best of Ray Barretto CD. So I got those 3 CDs. And I would drive to like Austin or Dallas over the weekend, or San Antonio over the weekend, to dance salsa. And those like 3-hour, 5-hour car rides would allow me to listen to these CDs fully. And and so I understood that flavor early on. And so when I was downloading music and nobody telling me it was timba, I immediately, I heard the difference. Wow, this is fun. This is much funkier than what I'm listening to on the CDs. So I instantly gravitated, especially being from Oakland, California, I gravitated towards that funk sound. Uh, am I frozen again?
You're frozen, but that's okay. I have a
We
question
can,
for you.
we can still hear you.
We can still hear you. It's okay. I have a
Yeah,
question
okay.
for you. I want you to compare you've been
Yes.
around the world. You have tasted many different salsa social scenes. And I think people would like to know what's
Yes.
going on in different places. What's the difference? I remember you telling me some things about Italy's scene, local scene.
Yeah.
You were telling me a lot of
Yeah.
stuff about I guess it was Madrid, Spain. And
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
of course, you were in Thailand. And then,
Yeah.
of course, there's Seoul. And then there's DC.
Yeah.
Tell us about
Yes.
some of the differences for those other social dance scenes as opposed to anything in the United States. What makes some of those different? What's the feel, the vibe, the surround?
Man, where to begin? It's like trying to fill a well with a teaspoon. Um, let's see here. Well, Korea has a very robust scene, as you guys know.
Yes.
There's dance until 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
Very technical, but that's only natural if you're not of the culture, and if you don't have like exposure to the culture,
Right.
then the only thing you can rely on is technique
Correct.
and video. What A plus B equals C, these kinds of things.
Right.
So really, the Koreans, they really love this thing. So, and who doesn't? The music is captivating. It's exhilarating. I mean,
What
you
about
guys are
What about
hardcore salsa lovers. What about Italy? They have, this was when I went to Italy, it was in 2008. So now this is like almost 13 years dated now. But even 13 years ago, I had visited several cities and danced all over the northern part of Italy. I remember there was this club called Zoo Latino, and I'm sure it's still around, but it was a big circus in the middle of a parking lot, like like a circus tent, like Ringling Brothers Circus, just set up in a big abandoned parking lot, I guess, for the sole purpose of having these like dance parties, raves outdoors, but this was tented, so it had this circus tent, and you had 2 rooms indoors. You had almost, I would say, hundreds, if not 1,000, hundreds of people dancing in that big room. And then you had a smaller room.
Jimmy!
Can't hear.
And 1,000 dancing salsa in another. But yeah, I mean, it's good. Quite advanced, very robust, salsa scene in Italy, all over Italy. You know, the Italians. Can you see me
Yeah,
now?
yeah, yeah.
Italians, you know, they put money into art. They understand the power of art. You know, art is our representation, manifestation of what we see in life. You know, so it's mimetic. It's mimetic code, and it's the way you pass down knowledge. They understand this totally, so they put money into art and they support art. And you know, that's why all the big American and European stars, they all gravitate, and Latinos, they gravitate towards Italy, to the ones that can support and continue their lifestyle. Yeah.
Big Jimmy,
Yeah.
DJ Renzo says what's up. DJ,
Renzo,
your boy,
Renzo,
your boy, who you got started in DC, DJ Philly Boy says what's up.
boy, what's up, boy?
Edwin
Rolling.
Edwin Soto is on the broadcast.
Oh man, Edwin, what is up? I wish you could see my face. Maybe I gotta turn this off first. Let me turn this off first. Let me turn it back on. No, what? Wait a minute. Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Edwin, listen, Edwin. I'm just gonna put that back up. That's just me thinking right there. I'm thinking hard. But listen, Edwin, everyone around the world knows you. It's so crazy. You know, they show these videos of you with your kids. The Sorto All Stars.
Yeah.
They show these videos all around, and they're like, "Look at this, so inspiring." I'm like, "Y'all don't even know. I know that dude." Like, y'all don't even know. That's the husband. That's the husband of my teacher. Y'all don't even know. It's crazy. Yeah.
Kevin Bingham is watching.
Oh, Kevin, what's up, Kevin?
Carolyn Bonilla and Felix Mariano.
Couchman.
Yeah. Oh, this is crazy.
Who?
I tell you, what's going on with your connection, man?
I don't know. Let me try this again. I'm gonna.
Jimmy will be back in a few minutes, guys. Bear with us because we all want to talk to him, and we all know it's frustrating when the connection keeps going out. But give us a minute. I'm sure he'll work it out.
It's so good seeing and talking to Jimmy. We miss him in DC. Yeah. He's definitely an integral part of DC.
Yeah. So, well, Tanya, I guess we can do a commercial about the DC salsa.
Yeah. Going down October 29th through October 31st. The first annual DC Salsa Marathon, sponsored by Salsa to Infinity. Mr. Mambo, Stuck on Salsa. We are getting ready to do something new and different in DC. Stay tuned. Website coming live, in 2 weeks? Jimmy, you're back.
Salsa Marathon.
Yeah.
That's right. Hey, listen, guys, let me, yeah, I'm back.
Okay.
Listen, Renzo, what's up, Renzo? Listen, hot topic. I just got Renzo is a professional DJ.
Absolutely.
He's a DJ.
No.
And of course, so this is his career. He does salsa DJing or DJing of all sorts full time. What do you think about this Spotify thing? Do you have a Spotify account, Tanya?
You know I don't.
You don't have a spot. Listen, I'm a late bloomer. I'm a late adopter too. I just got hip to Spotify about a month ago, and I'm telling you, it's a game changer. I throw parties here too.
Uh-huh.
Just to help with the promotion of art. And so I play music that I like. A lot of Cuban music, a lot of timba. Anything that a good variety of mambo stuff you could dance on 1, 2, on 2, 2, just so.
Yeah.
Jimmy, you still there?
Well, one thing about Jimmy, he thinks Spotify is a game changer, but
Totally, totally.
I
Why
got
would you talk? This is the
I got a
thing. This is the
problem.
thing. If I was throwing a party, now that I know something like Spotify, not a Congress, of course, just a. Would you save that money as a promoter?
No,
Would you?
I wouldn't. I
we,
wouldn't use.
we talked about it yesterday, and here's why.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
reason that makes DJ Renzo and DJ Philly Boy and Mambo Soul, Hercules, Neo, all the great DJs is Jose Rodriguez.
Great,
Is they can
great,
read a crowd.
great.
Spotify can't read your crowd.
That's up to you. But that's up to you to actually like find the song and cue.
But
But
then we would be a DJ, and that's not our expertise. And this is why you would have a live DJ.
AI for Spotify is incredible.
But Spotify,
So
you're not
as
gonna
you're
learn.
going as you're going throughout your week, driving in your car, you're listening to music, and there's a song that you like. All you have to do is press like or put it into a playlist. And so what you're doing is you're just playing music that you like.
The key word here is, Jimmy, is what you like. What you like
Yes.
may not be what the crowd likes. You know,
Yes.
Jimmy,
Yeah.
you be a
You
DJ
have
and play
the
Tigger
crowd.
all night long.
You have to know the crowd. Yeah. You'd have to know the crowd.
But Spotify's not going to teach you that skill.
Huh?
Spotify's not going to teach you the skill of how to read a crowd.
Cool. It's just a tool.
Hey, Jimmy, I got another question for you. I got a question. I want to change direction.
Yes.
I want to go back to the dance. You were known,
Yes.
at least in DC, as being a very powerful, when I say muscular, I don't mean so much your body frame, but a very aggressive, powerful turn pattern dancer. You were you had whip speed. Wait.
Yeah.
You had whip speed. There were challenging turn patterns for us follows. I loved it.
Yeah.
But I'm a masochist, but I loved it. People saw, you had a lot of flavor, but you also had a lot of challenging technique that you would just throw like in a blizzard at the follow. And I've noticed over the years, you've definitely have morphed and have started to, it appears, move away from so much heavy duty turn pattern to more of the, I guess, the Afro-Cuban. They're not shines, I don't think. Maybe they're shines, but the Afro-Cuban aesthetic.
Yeah. I'm listening.
So my question is, are you still into turn patterns like that? Or is it more of a spiritual, your dance and what you want to communicate? Is it more of this spiritual, flowy, Afro-Cuban menagerie? What's going on?
Oh, I hate that you explain it like that. That's how you feel about it. Clearly, that's how you feel.
No, because
you want to be, everybody likes different things. Huh?
No, I'm listening. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, of course. I mean, totally. That's quite a boring dance for me. And I think it comes with my own maturity, understanding the music. The music doesn't call for all that craziness sometimes. Definitely comes with maturity. I mean, I grew up in this dance, like literally, like grow up as well.
Right.
I've been doing this for long enough where my maturity into adulthood paralleled my time in salsa. And so comes with the territory. You get I mean, that turn pattern stuff, I mean, I've done it a million times.
Right.
You guys know.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my thing.
No, it's not that
Definitely
I don't like
doesn't.
it was just that I saw the difference. I see the difference, and it's such a
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally, yeah. It definitely comes with understanding the music.
Okay.
Understanding the music. Yeah, just getting deeper into the music, understanding the music. And the roots.
Right. Right.
Now
So,
I have much more tools to communicate myself, to describe what I want to say, etc. More vocabulary in the dance.
Awesome.
Yeah, turn pattern. Yeah, I mean
all
it's
right.
fun. I'm trying to. People are always interested in turn patterns, though. Interestingly, so I try to like put it in here and there, just as
That's the
like
money.
a
That's the money maker.
really. It's a yeah, it really is. I mean,
Mhm.
so thank goodness I specialize in that.
Beto,
you
Beto,
know.
Beto Herrera from North Carolina says, "What's up, Jimmy?"
Oh, Beto, what is up? North Carolina in the house. Raleigh, Durham. Yeah, what's up? What's up, bro? Yeah. Oh man, it's such an honor to hear the names of these guys. Yeah, miss all you guys. I really wish, man, 2020 was a hell of a year. Like the whole world.
Yeah.
Nobody affected the entire planet. You know, created whole alternate parallel universes, realities. I mean, for me, I was supposed to go back to DC 2020
Right.
for the summertime.
Yeah.
Supposed to go back. Totally changed my direction here. You know, I had seeds here, and now the seeds are sprouting
Okay.
here too. It's a
So,
really like, guy. I'm telling you, this is a real thing. Like a whole generation of people. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's a real thing here. We get to practice with crazy stuff. Let me show you guys the stuff I practice with. Oh my gosh. Listen, guys, this is the stuff we're practicing with. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. This is the stuff we're practicing with here in Saigon.
wow.
And so you can't I know you guys cannot imagine like 20 people going to a park all with dual-handed two machetes in their hands, just wielding these swords, just going crazy in the park. Can't imagine that in America. Can only
No.
do
So I
that
want to
here.
clarify. I want to clarify. This is not doing your dance training, correct? This is something separate.
This
I
is
hope,
dance.
right?
This is dance. This is dance. For sure, this is dance. Yeah, we're practicing a Yoruba ethnic dance that has been preserved in Cuba. So it's part of the Afro-Cuban folkloric dance discipline. It's a dance for an Odisha named Ogun,
Okay.
and Ogun is Odisha of war, and he holds a cutlass or a machete or sword, sometimes two. And so, this is the craziest thing. We just really go at it. We research, uh, we figure the material out, and we go hard at the park. They have wonderful parks here, free for all, beautiful, wooded. I mean, the weather is perfect. It's just a blessing to be here. Can do things here that's not possible in America. Like go train to this extent. Yeah.
You're
Wow.
blessed. You're blessed.
So
Yeah.
Jimmy, just like
Like if I'm, I'm totally sold with this park training. The time I get back to DC, I can't imagine. I mean, I guess it is studio culture. Dance is studio culture, but really in Saigon, you can really, if you have like an idea of what art is, you can really manifest it here. And my idea is, you don't need to be in a studio to enjoy salsa. You could do it in the park.
Well,
So we
Jimmy,
got 20. Yeah.
I was gonna say post COVID, that may be a reality. It might not be a studio culture anymore post COVID.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
never know.
yeah.
Right.
So
Right.
Jimmy,
Yeah, the
like,
formula has changed totally. Nobody knows. Like no one knows how things are going to pan out.
It's
This is a
uncertain.
real guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Man, we're in the middle of this thing. We're not getting out. I don't see us improving till 2022.
yeah.
Vaccine roll,
Yeah.
etc. It's going to be difficult.
Jimmy, Can you hear me, Jimmy?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Shaka Brown and Irene Holtzman trained you, and you learned a lot from Sanaa Gianni as well.
100%.
How did you feel that you and Luz turned out a great instructor like Reggie Reed? How does that make you feel? Because a lot of people go to Reggie Reed. I be saying, you want a class? And they tell me, no, I'm going to go to Reggie Reed. I'm like, what? How do you feel that he's become such an important instructor? How does that make you feel?
I mean, if it feels great. It just, it validates my method, and he holds that key, and it's up to all of us to pass that key down.
Okay. All
If
right.
we don't, then the culture stays with us, and that's no fun because I have plenty more to live, and
Okay.
I want this culture to be around.
So,
I mean, of course, it gives me pride. I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud of him. I'm so happy everybody loves him. Of course, of course. And now it's his responsibility. He can't stop. Reggie, I hope you watch this. You already know you cannot stop. You'll be doing this for the rest of your life.
I be
And that's
hating on
you.
him. I be hating on Reggie Reed. I be like, Reggie Reed, all right, you need to take the class from me. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But but also, DC has a lot of followers and a lot of female instructors that are great. What made you decide to start the academy with Luz Rodriguez?
Oh, that was totally by chance. Everything that happens, everything that has happened in my life has been very organic. You know, I so I had started to teach in my home, in my living, and it was a private class. Outside of Mr. Mambo's, I started to teach in my living room, and so I had invited uh, a few couples to come to my class or to come to my living room once a week to learn. And so I held this class once a week, and one class became two, and there was a tenant living underneath me, and so one day he knocked on my door. He said, "Hey, I hear all this, twice a week. Goom, 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 goom. You can't be doing that. This is not a business zone. This is a residential area. You cannot be doing this." And while he was talking, he opened up his hand. And I looked at him. I thought to myself, you crazy motherfucker. You are trying to strong arm me. And he wanted $100. So I thought to myself, you know what? For the rest of this month, I will continue my classes, and I will pay you that $100. So I did give him $100, but I thought to myself, you know what? Next month I'm not going to be strong armed again. The whole reason why I'm in my living room is because I didn't want to leave my house. I didn't want to drive anywhere. I wanted my students to come to me. But you are forcing my hand. So the next month, I found the closest studio to my house, which was Princess Moon on Georgia Avenue. And so, yeah, went to Princess Moon right there. And, one class turned to two, two turned to three turned to four. Start training instructors, people like the method, et cetera, et cetera. We really focused on social dancing. Before DC Style Salsa Academy, in Washington, D.C. at least, the training was largely performance-based, and it still is in many parts around the world.
Yeah.
How we try to distinguish ourselves, of course, because of my background, because I'm just such an avid social dancer. I'm also a martial artist, so I understand method when it comes to practice, and so I applied a lot of my judo practice. We call it uchikomi in judo, and that's like repetition practice, constant repetitive practice. So what we did was we took building blocks in salsa, which very much Shaka and Irene imparted to me, these fundamental building blocks, and we just practiced the shit out of them. We just like over and over and over again. We drilled different building blocks until you were proficient in that one item. And that's what we were known for, and people really enjoyed it. And Reggie was one of our first students, and that's where he gets that technique. You know, those beautiful 360s and back spot turns and just, you know, awesome redirections. And yeah, so we really nerded out at the academy. We wrote all our turn patterns down formulaically. We categorized each thing. You know, it's very technique driven operation. And people, they appreciated. They appreciated the method. They appreciated the professionalism. We tried to professionalize ourselves. You know, this wasn't. I come from a professional world, so I applied these things to the academy. Of course, Shaka was mental in all of this because he, at the time, he really promoted the idea of professionalism in salsa. You know, there was a Earl, you did that magazine, right? Was it you? It was you.
No,
And
no, Renzo did a magazine.
Renzo.
you did the magazine, right?
No, Renzo did a magazine.
Renzo.
No, you did it before, a long time ago, like in 2008. Shaka wrote an article for
James Johnson, Earl.
yes,
Johnny Johnson.
Johnson.
Johnny Johnson.
Johnny Johnson. Oh, yeah, I work with Johnny Johnson. Yeah, I work with Johnny Johnson. Yes.
No,
Lavoy.
that's
Lavoy.
you guys had a Mambo magazine. Hey. Yeah. Lavaz, Lavaz,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, Laveau, yeah.
Oh, so Shaka wrote an article about professionalism in salsa and how to distinguish yourself as a professional so that people knew who to go to. And so he was really instrumental. He wrote a piece and really like promoted and motivated contemporaries during that time to professionalize themselves. So that shouts to Shaka, from Shaka as well. Yeah. Big time. He was big into the business. You know, he taught me about the whole automation in salsa. You know, I've been doing these salsa videos for a long time now, like because of Shaka. You know, Shaka and Jiro, they're the iMambo people. They started doing this before YouTube. They're the ones, they are so pivotal. Like people don't know this. You know, this is 2021. But back in the day, these guys are the founders of the cottage industry, which blew up into what we know as modern salsa today. This economic bubble was created by them. Totally.
I agree.
With iMambo TV. Really? Like I had no way back when like the internet was just burgeoning. Who had, and if you're living in like some remote area as I was, stationed in Texas in the middle of nowhere, you have no way of like seeing what on or on two or any salsa dances looked like. The first thing that popped up in like a Yahoo or Google search was iMambo. And in fact, they were the ones that were doing these things. This was years before YouTube.
Yeah.
And so they developed this kind, you know, this like because of them homemade household names that you know, like these salsa nerds. We all know these names, like Adolfo and Juan Matos and Magna Gopal, et cetera, Sion, all these guys, crazy turn pattern guys, Kathy and Micah Boone, you know, all these people became famous from iMambo because the market is there. Anybody just like opening up the internet. So anyways, Shaka was the one that really like, you know, in terms of like business and professionalism, I remember we were driving somewhere and he was like, you know, this dance business, because he was training me to be an instructor at his school at Clavakazi, at CK Dance Studio. So I remember one of the first, all these were lessons of professionalism and business development. You're a dancer, so you depend on your legs.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to be doing any more interviews with people over in Asia. Even though the one I did with Henry Knowles was fine. I don't know what's with Jimmy's connection.
Jimmy, can't hear you. Jimmy, you still there?
you hear?
I can
Yeah,
hear
Yeah,
you.
can you hear me?
Yep.
yeah.
Okay, let me. Okay. Eddie Torres. He makes his money by being able to get up and go to his studio and actually dance and teach and perform because his legs are active. Well, what if, God forbid, what if one day he breaks a leg? You know, the expression "go break a leg."
Right.
What if one day he breaks a leg? That's the end of how he makes money until his leg gets better. That's the exact same thing that's happening right now. COVID lockdown, that's like a big leg breaker for all dancers, all professional dancers, all people who make money from this. And so he taught me a long time ago, you have to automate this stuff. What if one day you can't dance anymore? You have to make videos. So thanks to Shaka, I started early. SalsaNerd.com, shouts. SalsaNerd.com, check it out. 100 plus videos, one of the oldest sites on the internet. Full school library. Check us out. Yeah, but thanks to you, Shaka. Thanks to you.
Hey
So
Jimmy,
Yeah, thanks.
I got one more question because I don't know how much time we have left. You are somebody that always impressed me with having immense curiosity about people, about just different topics, and even dances. And I remember you started getting into, well, you were already into house music because we bonded over house music, but
Yeah.
you started getting into, I don't know if it was it house music? Was it breakdancing? But I know it was like at the DC Dance Collective, there was some type of
Yeah.
collective, and you became a part of that. Why don't you tell us about that?
Urban artist. Shout outs to Urban Artistry.
Right.
Urban Artistry. They are one of the tremendous houses of knowledge and culture, dance knowledge, American folk dance knowledge, house dance, break dance. These are American folk dances, as they like to categorize it. So they're a tremendous preservation house of American traditional dance knowledge. And so, yeah, definitely sought after them, learn from them. Junius, otherwise known as House, Russell Campbell, still throwing it down. Toyin, um, Tosh, a lot of teachers, Ryan Webb, et cetera, et cetera. These are the great teachers of urban artistry, really doing the work in passing down, preserving and passing down knowledge to the next generation in Washington, D.C. and beyond. And that's really what our mission was at the D.C. Style Salsa Academy, was to preserve the techniques which are native, salsa techniques, which are very much native to our part of the world, and really passing it on. Now, what I described before was definitely the business aspect with Shaka, uh, Irene taught me, and Mr. Mambos and Tommy and Tanya and Earl. Of course, Earl Rush is the first. My first class ever in life was at Mr. Mambos, and Earl had asked me to teach a workshop at Mr. Mambos. It was like April 2008, and you asked me to do my first class ever teaching ever. And it was terrible, man. You gave me a rough time because I didn't know what the hell I was talking about. I was faking everything, and I was so nervous. I was stammering. I just, it was terrible. Oh man, you gave me a hard time. But yeah, um, what I had been describing was the business side. What what is lacking in the American salsa scene is, in my opinion, the culture, and it's very much salsa as we know it is at the consumer end decontextualized. It's softened. It's made more digestible and appetizing for a commercial audience. Um, and so that's what was not given to me. So how that hole was filled was through Adrian Valdivia. Got to give shouts to Adrian, DC Casineros. They're they're really vanguards of traditional Cuban Cuban folk culture in Washington, D.C. And so I had been it was like a Wednesday. We used to go there, Tanya, you and me. It was like salsa. It was salsa at Pure Lounge
Yeah,
on U
pure
Street.
now.
Salsa, salsa. And so it was a Wednesday night. We went there maybe sometime like 2010 or something like that. I mean, they were still going on for a little bit. And I don't know if you remember that night, I just started seeing, first of all, it was an all black salsa
Yeah.
crowd.
Yeah.
This is something you don't,
It's
probably
amazing.
outside of see, you don't see this, but you don't
Right.
even see this in our mambo salsa community. It's very much, it's very diverse in our salsa mambo community. But at this party at Salsa, it was an all black salsa party.
Mhm.
And you know, the stuff I was seeing in there, I had never seen before. I was like, whoa, what? How is he moving that? How? I need to know who this man's name is. I need to know this man's name. I want to learn from this guy. I need to know. I just need to know. How is he moving like this? I need to know this. This I need to know. And so after the night, I said, listen, please tell me, what are you dancing? Yeah, and how do I learn? Who do I learn from? And he said, this is African folkloric dance, what he's doing, how he's moving, the undulations of his body, the rotations, just everything. It was just so, it blew me away. I was so awestruck when I saw the technique. When I saw Adrian dancing, I was like, wow, I want to move like that. You don't see that kind of movement, at least up to that point. Now Afro-Cuban is the trend, you know, and we worked really hard to really push that culture forward in the salsa community. But back then it was not known, you know, it was definitely, we weren't doing that in the salsa linea or line salsa community. And so I asked him, and he said, this is Afro-Cuban dancing, folkloric dancing that I learned from, I got inspired from. I said, who do you learn from? Who can I learn from this? Who can I learn this from? He said, Oscar Rousseau Pons. Go learn from Oscar. There's two people to learn from in Washington, D.C. At that point, it was Oscar and Aramis Pazos. So both of them, yeah. I had seeked Oscar for a long time since the beginning, but he would never return my calls. So it took me many years to catch up with teacher Oscar. But Maestro finally was kind enough to share his dance knowledge with me. Yeah.
You had him at your studio, right? Jimmy, he teaches at your studio, right?
You know, I'm turning this off right now, but I'm going to turn it back on. The DC Style Salsa Academy has been closed since March of 2020.
Well, I meant pre-COVID, Jimmy. I know everything's closed now.
Yeah, pre-COVID, he took a break, a hiatus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's yeah.
Okay. All right.
With all due respect.
Yeah.
Yeah, Oscar is a great master. He taught most of
Jimmy.
first teacher, actually first Afro-Cuban teacher, Patty Rivera, is actually his student as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Patty's awesome. She's freaking awesome.
Yeah, Patty. Yeah, Patty. Shouts to Patty.
Yeah. So, Jimmy.
Yes.
I remember the last time, last time we went out before you left, we went over to Langdon Park. There were about 5,000 Afro-Americans. You were the only Asian over there. You did not feel uncomfortable or anything. And we had
not at all.
What about the go-go makes you like go-go music?
Oh, listen, I wish you could see the enthusiasm on my face. I love go-go music. And you know what? Go-go would not be around without Tommy Smith. That's the daughter of Tommy Smith right there. That's Tanya Smith right there, who I'm pointing at. Without Tommy, go-go music, Washington, D.C.'s authentic native music would not be what it is today. Tommy Smith. So we call Tommy Smith Mr. Mambo in Washington, D.C. He's the longest running, longest going mambo instructor, salsa mambo instructor in the Washington, D.C. area, teaching for almost 40 years, possibly over. But anyways, the story goes, he used to have a band in D.C. called the Los Latinos.
Yep.
Or maybe the words Los Americanos.
Oh, Los
But
Latinos. Los
Los
Latinos.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah. He needed a guitar player. So he hired Chuck Brown to play the guitar. And this is where Chuck saw the conga drums. Tommy playing the congas. And somehow it got changed to Congo drums. And he took that. And, the rest is history.
Yeah.
So the Congo drum is an essential sound of Washington, D.C. go-go. Without it, it would not be go-go. You need to hear the Congo drum. That rhythm is an essential part of the music. Without it, it would not be go-go music. And without Chuck Brown being hired as Tommy Smith's guitar player, that would never have happened. So it all has history. It goes back to this salsa thing.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, for sure. That's for sure. He has a song where he says, if you listen to him, it says, started out with Los Latinos. And that was Mr. Mambo's band.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And years later, that's how years later he's still teaching salsa dance, and he started to throw a party, a social for his students to dance, and he gets his daughter to come on board to to get closer, not only get closer with his daughter, but to really like have a go at this thing. And Tanya, you helped for many years, and that's when I came in as well. You guys hired me, and I took a long time.
So, Jimmy, were there any other parts of the world that you went to where the socials were like Mr. Mambo's, when Mr. Mambo's was in the heyday at DC Dance Collective? The energy, the vibe that you can compare it to.
And there's nowhere on planet Earth. Listen, Mr. Mambo's, Washington, D.C., Mr. Mambo's is an institution. Stuck on Salsa is an institution, but Mr. Mambo's is seriously an institution. I mean, I can't think of another party anywhere in the world where people came just to go downstairs, to sit on the couch and say what's up to their friends. I mean, people came, like the whole city came to Mr. Mambo's. And you know what? People came not just to dance, but to see their friends. A lot of people came and they just hung out. And there's so many people. I mean, it was packed. Downstairs, upstairs, the whole place was a sauna sweatbox. I mean, it was incredible. And Tanya, she really gave me carte blanche to do whatever the hell I wanted to do. I brought picnic chairs in there, and I started bringing BYOB, bring my own bottles of alcohol and drinking food, and she would always let us play our cowbells and go crazy with the music. And you know what? One day, Raina's sister, because it was my birthday, you let me host Raina to play timba at my birthday. Yeah, and Raina brought her sister, and her sister brought this whistle. And she started whistling throughout the whole place, around. It was so crazy. I mean,
it was.
Never seen anything like this in my life, but not like it harkened back to me in my imagination to like the old disco days. You go to a club and just like act wild.
I was thinking that if I was around doing Studio 54, when she did that, it was like the salsa version of Studio 54. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Oh my, it was crazy. Yeah. So I had learned that whistle thing. I went out and got a whistle of my own. And for a couple of years, I just started blowing that whistle at Mr. Mambo's. Everybody hated it. But I got man, it was crazy. Oh my goodness. The whistle, the cowbell, the constant cowbell, especially at the beginning when I couldn't catch the time, man. Oh, so many good memories at Mr. Mambo's. So many things happened. I mean, that was the center of salsa activity. You know, it was so hot. Even the Cubans, they're like, when are you going to let us have a party at Mr. Mambo's? You know, it was crazy.
Yeah.
It was really crazy time back then.
It was good.
One time we had the Casaneros in the basement and the Momberos upstairs. It was out of control in there.
Yeah, it was wild. It was wild. It was out those times, you know. And then Lee's father, Mr. Lee, would be at the front door. Oh my God! All the Mr. Mambo, so many. You know, I never wanted to like Saturday nights were such a special time for me because I got to hang out. I never wanted to go home. You know, you guys are my family, so you know I hung out all night and we talked smack about everybody, and then everybody. You know, we'd have like 20 people just round table discussion talking smack about everyone. Oh man, that would go to the wee hours of the night. You know, the social and you know, like 3 a.m., but we would stick around till the morning.
Yeah.
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 Just talking smack.
So Jimmy, what made this is a twofold question. What made you talk me into using DJ Philly Boy, and how did you forge such a close friendship with DJ Philly Boy?
Oh, me and Philly Boy, we go back. We definitely go back. We just been good friends for a long time. And you know, it's always an honor to be able to DJ or teach a workshop or share your culture or share your art out of town in a city. You know, he's from Philly. He represents Philly. His name is Philly Boy. So, you know, there's a level of pride to that as well. And of course, when out of towners book an artist from DC, it's of great pride, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, of course you guys know, you know, it's all like, you know, you guys already know. As you guys, I have so much love for Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
From early, I recognized we had a different thing going on. We had a totally different salsa culture. You know, you and me, Tanya, and Earl, we go all over the East Coast. We drive around all sorts of different, you know, New York. So many weekends in New York, New Jersey, Baltimore, Philly. Canada, all the way over to Montreal, just all these places, experiencing their cultures. Definitely, I mean, there's nothing like DC. You know, DC, our DJs, we always like slower music. I always thought, you know, I appreciate the fast music now, but you know, compared to the other places that we traveled to, we listened to music that was a little slower.
Yeah.
And that afforded us more time for all these turn patterns. And then people started going crazy with the turn pattern thing. It was really nuts. I mean, there were like turn pattern competitions. You know, we'd sit down and we'd grab a girl and like, you know, Ronald Rios. What's up, Ronald? Big Ron. Listen, Ronald would like twist up all these girls and I'd be like, okay, let me try to do this. And, you know, and just go back and forth. And everybody started doing this. Victor Yang, you know, all these, like everybody wanted. Waleed Belkabir. What's up, Waleed? My friend Waleed from France, from Paris. My good friend from Waleed. You know, he came and he was like just a big sonic boom too. And he like captivated the hearts and imaginations of everybody, you know, especially with his sick turn patterns. Yep. Waleed came from Paris and he brought over all these hand toss variations, patterns to DC. And we're all like, where the hell did you bring all these hand tosses?
Yeah.
This is how they dance in France? Yeah. And he goes, oh, we all learned from Micah Boone. So it's a crazy thing. Micah didn't even know he had such an impact on the Parisian scene. I had met Micah years later at Stuck on Salsa Party at the Salsa Room. And Micah came and I told him, listen, man, I don't know if you know, but you inspired a whole generation of dancers and they're all and et cetera, et cetera. And he goes, oh, really? I had no idea. Cool. You know, such a humble, down to earth guy. Micah and Kathy, they're such great people.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what it was. We were all excited about salsa on such an interstellar level. I mean, talking about turn patterns and music and culture and just like technique and and it was partly that we could nerd out on it on an intellectual level, but also it was physical. It was deeply spiritual. It was releasing, and it was an exercise
Yeah.
as well. It was for good health. I mean, for all of the above, and just like the release, the serotonin and the oxytocin that's released from the brain,
Yeah.
just from such a stimulating activity
Yeah.
as mind melding your mind, heart, spirit, and soul to music, and then to another human being. That's incredible. That trifecta creates like this religious dimension, this porthole into the very depths of your mind and your heart and your soul. And so, of course, we were all fanatics. We still are fanatics. We are so much so fanatics that we continue. A big part of our identities, who we are, is salsa. I mean, stuck on salsa, Mr. Mambo, salsa nerd. I mean, humongous part of our identities are attached to salsa. We've been doing this for so long now, decades. It's this is what it is, and we're able to enjoy this kind of culture in America because it's that big in America. It's a big deal in America.
Right.
Definitely
Yeah.
a big deal in Europe. It's catching on, Asia, especially in Southeast Asia. It's catching on. It's not like this. One of my biggest gripes I had here. I'll give you a little story about the dissemination of culture. I had already known about Saigon for a while. I finally decided to move to Saigon temporarily because I am a big time lover of cannabis, and cannabis is quite liberal here in Saigon compared to the rest of Southeast Asia. So in terms of my medicine, I'm very much able to to live a happy and peaceful life here. But anyway, so coming here, salsa is totally, or at least was a year and a half, 2 years ago, salsa was at a totally different stage of development in Vietnam. Vietnam isn't as it doesn't get as much exposure as places in America or in Europe, simply because it's not necessarily closed, but it seems closed because
Yeah.
you have to get sponsorship, etc., to get in there. It's still it very much, and proudly, the people here are very proud, to say this is a communist country, etc. So for all the reasons stated, it's been taking a while for culture to disseminate through into Vietnam. And the Vietnamese, they enjoy American style salsa. They enjoy this American line salsa, whether it be on one or on two. What was developed in America is what is popular in Vietnam, which is really interesting to me because Vietnam has like a direct open door. I wouldn't say open door, but a close relationship with Cuba, both being communist countries. So you run into a lot of Cubans here who work in the entertainment industry, who are like band leaders. Of course, my biggest gripe is they don't play music that they play tourist salsa music because that's what their profession is, to fill in a Latin fantasy tourist industry, which is probably in my imagination what is similar in Cuba because they also have a tourist economy, But I do believe that they are able to have more creative freedom and expression in Cuba, because the music is like at that level. Here they're catering to a certain hotel tourist clientele. But anyways, so I had thought that because Vietnam has such a close relation with Cuba that you would see more Cuban culture here, or even casino, the or Cuban popular dances, but you don't. What you see here is the American style, and so that's what really baffled me. But having said that, so I just prepped for the story. I come in and I really, the music is not at least at that time it wasn't my preference. I was raised in the salsa world with a certain type of music, especially in Washington, D.C. You know, our D.C., we're known for our DJs. So, you know, Earl, Tanya, you guys are 100% right. Spotify, of course, you know, this is just like a new technology that I'm excited about. New to me, at least, but, you know, can never replace the DJs of Washington, D.C. D.C. has the best salsa mambo DJs in America and possibly on planet Earth. And so I'm used to a certain level of music. And, you know, people would say this, it's not just me. People all over the East Coast would drive on a Saturday night to Mr. Mambo's because they knew the truth. So many people all over New York, North Carolina would come to Mr. Mambo's to dance because of the music. The music was number one. So coming from Washington, D.C., I'm used to a certain caliber of music. And so, you know, I wanted to impart a little of that flavor here in Saigon. So I started my first party a year and some change ago, and it was 5 p.m. on a Sunday. I thought, okay, you know, like do a Sunday social here, or an afternoon social, 5 p.m. And so I did the social, and everyone was like, why are you playing only salsa music? I said, what do you mean? Why are you playing only salsa music? The salsa social. Of course I'm only gonna play salsa music. So that was the number one, that was the biggest critique. No, we don't get down like that. We don't listen to all salsa. So that was number one, the biggest culture shock. Number one, their nights are totally mixed. Totally mixed. You have salsa, bachata, and kizomba. Two salsa songs, two bachata songs, two kizomba songs. This is the standard rotation here in Saigon. So this is the culture. Yeah, it's totally and so, but that's the thing. I explained all this because we had the capacity to nerd out in America because it's just that's how the culture is. Here, the scene is so small, you can't enjoy it like how you would in America. The Latin scene is so small, it's forced to be shared with bachata dancers and kizomba dancers. All three scenes are lumped into one room, and that comprises, I would say, 70 or so people.
Wow.
70 or so people in all communities bunched together. So that's how small the scene. This scene cannot afford to have an all. That's what I'm used to in DC, at least in America. You have social, and it's all salsa music, and then you have, you know, maybe a second room for bachata, and congruently you have entire bachata scenes that have nothing but bachata music at their parties, and you have zouk and kizomba dancers. They got their own parties and they got their own nights, and you know the individual scenes are big enough to accommodate entertainment, night entertainment. Not here in Saigon. It's quite small. So that was my first mistake. First mistake was playing all salsa. Second was doing it at 5 p.m. You know, we're very used to in America the socials. You know, because for the most part, it's difficult. Not many downtown or club, fancy restaurant, establishment venues are going to afford you a salsa night
on Saturday.
It's rare. Yeah, especially Saturday or Friday. They're not going to afford you the night because you can make so much more money with, you know, electronic music or hip hop, et cetera, a different music program. And so we're used to these kinds of 5 p.m. daytime socials. Definitely made famous by the socials in New York. This whole idea of dancing in the day on a Sunday, and then like, you know, at night you have whatever you want to do, et cetera. So that was my second mistake. People were like, not 5 p.m. This is way too late. So I come, yeah, total culture shocks, you know. But now I've been here for a year and a half, and this is kind of like, you know, as much as Saigon has changed, I've changed as well. You know, the culture of Saigon has bled into me as well. I'm very much used to like 2 salsa songs now, and having a break with 2 bachata and like 2 kizomba. Yeah, I listen, but this is what very much. If it wasn't for, yeah, this is what it is. But yeah.
Okay. Well, Jimmy, we was both, Tanya and myself were very excited to see you.
Oh my God.
Don't disconnect when I end the show, but we got to wrap it up. We've been an hour and a half already, so we got to end this because I don't want people not to want to come to the show because they say his interviews are too long. I don't want to watch it, so we got to cut it off. But don't cut off because I still want to talk to you. But I want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule. Everybody was excited to hear you and see you, and
man.
Jimmy, as always, I enjoy the conversation. I enjoy the knowledge. I enjoy just your curiosity and how you see things. And I think the people who did listen, I think they enjoyed it as well. I miss you. DC misses you. Can't wait to see you again, bro.
All right.
Love you.
All right, Jimmy. Thank you so much, buddy.
Love you.
All right. Love you too.
Thank you.
All right.